Hello, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum to all the honorable participants, delegates from different cities, our respected international participants and trainees. I hereby welcome all of my participants from the platform of National Alliance for Safe Food. National Alliance for Safe Food organizing free of cost capacity building sessions, training session with certificate on emerging topic that is international food standards. Please note our email and website if you need any assistance during the training sessions. This is our 1 hour and 20-minute sessions. And yes, this is the plan of today training sessions that is organized by the National Alliance for Safe Food on international food standards. Today, 14th May at 10 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. First of all, we take attendance. Our team will share the attendance in the comment box of these training sessions. On our Facebook live page, you can catch us Facebook at the rate of NFS Food. I request to the team of National Alliance for Safe Food, please share the attendance link here so that our participants mark their attendance for smooth functioning and smooth operations of their certificates at the end of training sessions. After 5 to 6 minutes, we start our training sessions. That is for 15 minutes, inshallah. And then question answers, then online quiz for 10 minutes, then feedback form will be shared on this Facebook page as well as on our comments box. Concluding remarks, and then by tomorrow, you all people receive training material which is shared here today by me, and then issuance of certificate on 21st May. Okay. Links almost uploaded on our all social media pages. We mentioned the international timings on this plan too for ease of our valued participants. I introduce myself. This is Muhammad Awais Khan, the resource person of today training on international food standards. I am the heading the National Alliance for Safe Food Pakistan and a food scientist by profession. I conduct more than 400 trainings on food safety standards, regulations with the food professionals, food industries, and so on, and conduct more than 130 audits on food standards in Pakistan and internationally too. So all the participants, this is attendance time. Please mark your attendance. You have 2 minutes. I request to all the participants who are sending us a message on our Facebook Messenger, please go to our Facebook web page, Facebook at the rate of /nfsfood.org. Just see the attendance link, mark your attendance so that after 2 to 3 minutes, we start our training session. I request to all the participants, please do not personally message to our focal persons. Just go to the NFS page and get the link, please. Okay, so now we are officially starting our training sessions. I hope you all people get attendance link. Our team, our management team and coordinators are here to assist you on our social media pages. Okay, I already shared the today training plan with all of you. Again, I introduce myself. This is Muhammad Awais Khan and I am a food scientist by profession. Okay, mission. This is the mission of National Alliance for Safe Food. The National Alliance for Safe Food is the organization which is conducting free of cost training sessions for all the participants, from local, from Pakistani participants and for international participants. We are not taking any single rupee from any participants. This is a certificate-based training and very important training. All of the registered participants get PDF of today training also on their official emails, which is given on their attendance link. So what is the mission? What is the mission of National Alliance for Safe Food? To strive for safe food production and consumption for betterment of human society, but training and educating manufacturers and consumers. This is the mission of National Alliance for Safe Food. The programs, we have 8 programs for achieving our mission statement, that is in our previous slide. We conduct the food safety awareness sessions across the country with the collaborations of different institutes and different stakeholders. We believe on strong academic and industrial collaborations and act as a bridge between the academia and industry. We also help to our young professionals, young food professionals, for startups, for entrepreneurship, for safe food production units. We are also working with the industry development projects, distance learning programs, food safety publications. We are also keen interested to launch our National Food Safety Journal, advisory and R&D facilities to the government organizations, government authorities, as well as to the industries and academia, technical workshops, trainings and seminars, even conferences in Pakistan. We aim to achieve our goals by bridging all the stakeholders, including consumer bodies, including trade bodies, food authorities, academia, scientists, and food industries also. So this is 3 lines, which is very important before start of the training. That is, each and every member of the food industry, from farm to fork, must create a culture where food safety and nutrition is paramount. This is our fundamental and basic national responsibility. Being a food professional, being a technical professional, being a good citizen of any country, this is our national responsibility to promote the safe food culture, because safe food and food safety directly related with the human health. And this is the national economical cause also. So this is our national responsibility to promote the food safety culture. Today, our training on international food standards. First of all, we discuss what is standard. Then we discuss what is the benefit of these standards. What are the international food standards? One by one, we discuss each and every element of today training, which is already shared with you. A standard is a level of quality or achievement. Different organizations, different pupils, different institutes have different words, lines of definitions, but the actual concept is a standard is a level of quality or achievement, especially a level that is thought to be acceptable. This is a level which thought to be acceptable by any organization, by producer, by supplier, by manufacturer. An international standard is a document established by consensus. It describes how to achieve an optimal outcome time after time by using an agreed and consistent approach. This is a document and established by consensus. Consensus means with the collaboration of all stakeholders. For those stakeholders who implement these standards, for those stakeholders who comply these standards, and for those stakeholders who authorize to monitor those standards. And countries will need to stay alert and take a proactive approach, regularly updating their capacities and staying informed to identify new challenge. So one organization, one food industry in Pakistan based, one in Nepal, one in Nigeria, one in Bangladesh, to each and every country will need to stay alert. They need the update information, upgradation of standards, amendment, additions, new additions of standards. This is the responsibility of respective countries and respective organizations to take a proactive approach and regularly updating their capacities, regularly train and their staffs, updated training on latest standards which are applicable for the trade, for the food trade, and for the food industries. So standard, we are discussing today on standard. This is also a World Standard Day celebrated every year on 14th October. World Standard Day, like World Food Day celebrated by all food and allied organizations. World Water Day celebrated, World Health Day celebrated, World Accreditation Day celebrated. So same World Standards Day also celebrated every year across the globe by global organizations, and at global and country level, even at regional level also, by all standard development bodies. So this is 14th October. So this year theme, every year World Standard Day have different slogan, different theme for that particular year. For 2020, World Standard Day theme is protecting the planet with standards. We have to protect these beautiful earth with applicable and latest standards, because standard is thought to be acceptable and it is beneficial for all stakeholders in consumers, manufacturers, service providers, regulators also. These are some international standards which we are discussing today one by one. Very short introduction of all standards. You people must get a short directions, new thoughts, new innovations. Just see and listen the basics of these standards. Go to your internet, use other tab of laptop and just put the website links, so that after that training, you may study at your own also. This session is only just light discussion on all standards, just basic guidelines of these standards and overview of these standards, international food standards. This is your responsibility. This is our participants' responsibility to study in detail these standards with the respected or relevant websites which are mentioned in these PPTs. This is your responsibility. So I request all of my participants to please, when I start my discussion on any standard, you must write up these standards, you must write up the reference of these standards for a follow-up study for your own. This is the actual beneficial and actual benefit of this training, because this in 1 hour or 1 hour 20 minutes, we just go through the outlines of these standards, not the depth or the clauses of these standards. Just go through the standards outlines. This is just a directive session. You people have to study by own in detail through these PPTs. And we may also discuss the separate sessions for GFSI, for BRC, for HACCP, like mentioned here, for FSSC 22000, IFS food standards, SQF, we discuss today also and in future also. Okay. First of all, the Codex Alimentarius Commission, very important. Codex Alimentarius Commission, or food code, is a collaboration of standards, guidelines, and code of practice that governments may opt to use to ensure food safety, quality, and fair trade. This is for the governments, developed by Food and Agriculture Organization, that is the UNO organization. When the standards are followed, consumers can trust the safety and quality of the products they buy, and importers can trust that the food they ordered will meet their specifications. The standards are adopted by the Codex Alimentarius Commission, which currently comprises 187 member countries, 187 member countries, and one member organization, means European countries, currently comprises of Codex Alimentarius Commission. So the Codex Alimentarius Commission comprises 187 countries and European Union also, and 219 observers, of which 56 are intergovernmental organizations and 147 are non-governmental organizations, and 16 United Nations agencies, UN agencies. And the commission was established in 1963. The Codex Alimentarius Commission, established in 1963, also known as CSE. So where from the word Codex Alimentarius originated from? Basically, this is a Latin word and it means food code. Codex standards are international food text, I standards, code of practices, codes of hygienic practices, guidelines, and their other recommendations established to protect the health of the consumers and to ensure fair practices in the food trade. This is the Codex standards. So basically, I'm going to the background, how these standards established. Is there only one organization or one stakeholder or one type of community who establishes standards? No. This is basically the total science apply on all these standards. Scientists, researchers from leading institutes and leading universities from different parts of the world gathered at the platform of Codex Alimentarius Commission by FAO, and they share their expertise, share their research work, share the needs of their relevant country. And then after getting all these inputs, FAO go for another standard and established by Codex Alimentarius Commissions. We also, in next slide, we discuss how standards are established and what are the scientific base of all these food standards. This is that slide which I was discussing. The foundation of Codex standards is sound scientific evidence. From the very beginning, the Codex Alimentarius has been a science-based activity. Experts and specialists in a wide range of disciplines, from the food science background, from the food microbiology background, from food chemistry background, food biotechnology background, have contributed to every aspect of the Codex Alimentarius, even from the business management and from law side also, to ensure that its standards withstand the most rigorous scientific scrutiny. FAO and Codex established two outstanding expert groups. One is Joint Expert Committee on Pesticide Residues, and the other one is that is dealing directly with the food is JECFA, that is Joint Expert Committee on Food Additives. The committee members, as I described earlier, belongs to different fields of microbiology, of food sciences, of chemistry, biotechnology, and they collectively work for the FAO for developing the standards on scientific basis. So Codex scorecard, this is from the Codex website. We fetch the data from the Codex Alimentarius Commission website. You may also go directly to the website and see. This table gives the number of Codex standards, guidelines, and code of practice by subject matter following the decisions of the 39th session of the Codex Alimentarius Commission. That is 76 guidelines up till now established by Codex Alimentarius Commission, and 191 different commodity standards were established with 50 code of practices. 4,846 maximum residue limits for pesticide residues, covering the 294 pesticides also. This is the some Codex scorecard, the guidelines, the commodity standards, the code of practices established by the Codex Alimentarius Commission, and the data directly fetched from the Codex Alimentarius Commission website. So now we are going towards the international standards. The first one, we are discussing the Global Food Safety Initiative, GFSI. This is also called as a GFSI. Over the past several decades, the world has seen numerous food safety crises in the headlines. Yes, we are seeing in our regions, in our country, media, all across the globe, even all countries' media, depicting the food safety issues, crises, and death due to the unsafe food, eroding consumers' trust in the safety of the food they buy, the brands they love, and even the food industry at large. Okay. The Global Food Safety Initiative was, GFSI was created in 2000. The basic aims and objectives to establish the Global Food Safety Initiative to help address this global issue. This global food safety crisis issue addressed by Global Food Safety Initiative. It's a landmark initiative of the Consumer Goods Forum, a global industry network. So GFSI then established their own approved standards. We discuss one by one. This is the official website. I request to the audience, to the participants of this today training sessions, please save this website. Just go through directly this website and study by on later after this training also. This is the basic information of GFSI as discussed in previous slide, that GFSI established in 2000. So now what are the GFSI approved standards? Different standards are benchmarked for equivalence in food safety requirements, like BRC. Those persons who are working in food industries, who are in different positions of food industries, they well know the BRC standard, British Retail Consortium Global Standard for Food Safety. Level 8 also issued and implemented in industries. Then IFS, that is German or French standards, international featured standards. IFS also has standards in different capacities, also in food, but in logistics and supply chain, in warehouse management, and so on. Today we are discussing only IFS food standards one by one in upcoming slides. Then HACCP standard is very common nowadays, especially in our academic institutes. Even HACCP also included in our curriculum of graduation students of across the globe, even in Pakistan, in India, in Nigeria, in Nepal. All these universities having the food departments, they are starting the graduation degree, and in graduation degree, this is the one course on food safety and laws and covering a whole HACCP standard also. Then SQF standard, that is Safe Quality Food Standard from Australia. Then ISO standards, ISO 22000 standard approved with modification in 2009, including the food fraud and food defense also. So we are discussing today these GFSI approved standards. GFSI, safe food for consumers everywhere. This is the slogan of GFSI. What GFSI doing? Why this initiative established, and what is the aims and objectives of this largest food safety initiative? GFSI brings together key actors of the food industry to collaboratively drive continuous improvement in food safety management systems around the world. GFSI brings together all stakeholders, all key factors and actors of food industry for collaborative work for food safety management system. That's why this is benchmarking, harmonization of standards, capacity building of the auditors, of the trainers, of the industries, strategic partnership of different pockets of industrial diagram, thought leadership, and driving continuous improvement. These are the silent features of the establishment of GFSI. How GFSI work? Food operators worldwide are streamlining their processes and growing their business through certification with GFSI recognized certification program. GFSI recognized certification program certified industries product accepted everywhere around the globe. Like they are mentioning here that over 150,000 certificates from GFSI recognized CPOs have been issued in 162 countries and are increasing, being required as a prerequisite to doing business. So this is the value of GFSI, that they are at a time working in 162 countries and increasing the certification process of GFSI recognized standards day by day. Like the vision of Global Food Safety Initiative, that is safe food for consumers everywhere. And the mission is provide continuous improvement in food safety management systems to ensure confidence in the delivery of safe food to consumer worldwide. That is the vision statement and the mission statement of the Food Safety Initiative. The goal of the Food Safety Initiative is once certified, accepted everywhere. Mean once one product manufactured in Iran or in UAE or in Pakistan, Nepal, and that product is certified from GFSI recognized certification scheme, and that product is accepted everywhere across the 162 countries. So GFSI mission recognized these are the some standards like BRC, FSSC, Global GAP, Good Agricultural Practices, IFS standards. We are discussing today only IFS food standards, SQF standards, BRC global standard. BRC also established standards in different sectors, but today we are only discussing the BRC food standards. Okay. So let's start from FSSC, that is Food Safety and System Certification 22000. That is the most recognized and most popular standard nowadays in food industries. Most of the young professionals interested for lead auditors for trainings on FSSC 22000. FSSC 22000, this is a GFSI approved certification scheme and standard, provides a trusted brand assurance platform to the consumer goods. Worldwide, 23,675 food safety FSSC 22000 certificates worldwide. And FSSC standards applicable to 7 different sectors. We are discussing one by one each sectors in our upcoming slide. And overall 128 certification bodies working globally in Pakistan who are doing FSSC certifications for the food industry. And this certification is only for food business. This is specifically designed for food business. Across the globe, 128 certification bodies working worldwide for this certification scheme in 154 countries. So these are the basic 3 main components of FSSC 22000. That is ISO 22000, formerly known as ISO 22000 2005, then upgraded in 2015, then 2018. Then PRPs and FSSC 22000 requirement. ISO 22000 a common framework across the entire supply chain to manage requirements, communication internally and externally, and continually improve the system. This is the basics of ISO 2. But FSSC 22000 comprises of ISO and also PRPs, prerequisite programs. PRPs mean prerequisite programs. This is an other standard, that is TS, technical standard. ISO technical standards, specific requirements like personal hygiene, like cleaning and sanitation, like pest management, like staff facilities, and so on. These are the PRPs, prerequisite programs, and technical standard, ISO technical standard TS. Then FSSC requirements, specific requirements to ensure consistency, integrity, and to provide governance and management of the scheme. So these are the basic 3 the components of FSSC 22000 scheme, that is ISO 22000, PRPs, and FSSC 22000 requirements. Okay, These are the 7 sectors in which FSSC working. Host FSSC 22000 supports the whole food supply chain. And more information about these sectors can be found below in retail and wholesale. In retail and wholesale, like worldwide retail stores, Walmart, Metro, in Pakistan, Chazab, Spar, Imtiaz, Al Fateh, and so on, retail and wholesale business growing day by day and globally increasing globally with implementation of latest and emerging standards, food standards, and also health standards. So FSSC also apply on retail and food sector, and then catering sector. Catering business is the largest business who is ignoring, especially in the developing countries or underdeveloped countries, because the personals working, the food handlers working in catering business are mostly not food professionals, mostly only 1 or 2 men in one facility holding the degree of food science and technology, and rest all are illiterate. So this is the fundamental issue in catering, but in catering industry also FSSC 22000 applicable. Then transport and store, transport and storage of foods. All the transport vehicles, tools for transporting food from one part to another part, they are also FSSC 22000 covered this standard. This is also this sector of FSSC 22000. And storage conditions, storage premises, requirements, and so on. Then food manufacturing mean directly food industries, and then food packaging manufacturing. As you people know that packaging is any packaging material directly contact with the food, and that packaging material should not be health hazard, not be food hazard, not made from any component or any chemicals that are transmitted from packaging material to the food, and that packaging material should be food grade, must be food grade, and also must be halal as per the Islamic guidelines also. Then even animal feed production also involved in the sector of FSSC 22000. Animal feed is critical for all animals used in the food supply chain. Animal feed shall be nutritious and safe for the animal and safe for human food also. Then farming, animal farming and animal feed, these are also included in FSSC 22000 scheme. Animal farming is the critical first supply chain step for many food products when food safety is not sufficient control at this step. Okay. So this is the basic food safety management system. The 3 main terminologies used, that is HACCP, that is TACCP, and that is VASP. HACCP, that is a proactive approach, a systematic approach. Mostly industries certified against HACCP already. HACCP standard is old standard that is established, and the history is from NASA, also known as food safety. But 2 latest terminologies added in FSSC scheme, that is GFSA scheme, that is TACCP and VASP. TACCP is known as food defense and VASP is food fraud. Food defense and food fraud, that both are intentional adulteration. Intentional, but food safety and food quality may be unintentional. The basic aims and objectives of TACCP and VASP mean food defense and food fraud is the breach of consumers. Even as a biologically or ideologically motivated, that is food defense, or for economical gain only, that is food fraud, mislabeling, and misbranding. You may see this picture. In between, you see a line that differentiate both terminologies. 2 is intentional adulteration and 2 is unintentional adulteration. Mean food fraud and food defense, that both are intentional adulteration, but food safety and food quality unintentional may be compromised due to food handlers maybe unintentionally due to automatic issues, due to mechanical issues, due to machines issues in premises, due to climate and some other reasons. So food safety and food quality is unintentional adulteration. But food fraud, that is economically driven, motivation is gain, and ultimate objectives to gain the profit. Misbranding mean, for example, you are preparing a ketchup in any premises and you are mentioning that you added a number percentage of tomato pulp in the ketchup, but actually in practically you are not adding. So this is the fraud, and this is only for the economical gain for the industry. So this is intentional adulteration, and in Pakistan especially, this is an offense. And against the food adulteration, Pakistan's food authority is very active nowadays, especially against the food fraud. And there are certain classes of misbranding and mislabeling, and imposing the fines to the food premises who are doing this offense. And food defense, that is ideologically driven, biologically additions, and it ultimately aims to provide to cause harm of the consumers or to the competitors. So these are the important terminologies added in GFSI schemes. Globally, food fraud across the globe, effects and figures, what is the loss of food fraud only. Up to 89% of global manufacturing businesses, including food and drink manufacturers, have been affected by fraud in the past 12 months. And the cost of only food fraud across the globe is estimated between US $30 to US $40 billion annually. This is the loss, this is the cost of food fraud. And food fraud cost the UK's food and drink manufacturers 11.2 billion per year. From these figures, you may understand how we lost only due to this terminology, that is food fraud. So this is the about the GFSI standards. Number one, that is FSSC 22000. Now we are going towards SQF standard, that is safe quality food. SQF standard. SQF standard basically developed in Australia in late 1990s. And then finally, SQF standards established in 1994. The Australian this is specially designed for the Australian retail sector, Australian market and consumers. And this is also a GFSI approved standard. Very effective tool for Australian retailers. But SQF standards got approval from GFSI, Global Food Safety Initiative, in 2005. Then the standard was purchased in its entirely by FMI, Food Manufacturing Industries, and brought to the US also in 2005. Then under pressure from FMI board, major US retailers began adopting SQF in 2007. So this is the basic history of SQF standard. This is also international food standard. Then again, I request to my all the audience and the participants must write down the SQF standard in another tab or write in your diary, must study in detail through the website of SQF. This is just the guidelines. We are just go through the standards outlines here in this training. SQF is a versatile standard and very also applicable, like we discuss FSSC, also applicable for 7 sectors. So SQF, 2 SQF standards are applied to food suppliers, SQF 1000 and SQF 2000. SQF 1000 standard, this is specifically for primary producers like farming and ranching operations. The SQF 1000 standard is for primary producers, and SQF 2000 standard for food processors means secondary producers. Farmers are always a primary producer, and manufacturers mean industry is also a producer, but it is categorized in secondary producer, that is food processors. And around standards available, SQF standards in 34 food sector categories, including milk, including dairy, beverages, meat, spices, and so on. Different 34 sector categories, SQF. So SQF also a well-known international food standard, especially in Australian market. Then in 2005, GFSI also got, SQF got the approval from, recognition from the GFSI, and this is the common applicable standards in Australia. Now IFS, that is International Featured Standards. International featured standards are popular in European countries and established in 2002. SQF standards are popular in Australian market, and international featured standards, that is popular in European countries. It's a key standard in Europe, IFS. And we also discuss IFS also developing the standards apart from food, being from retailers, for wholesalers, for logistics. But today we only discuss the two standards that is directly related with food. IFS is a key standard in Europe. All major retailers in Germany, France, Italy, and other European countries require suppliers to be certified to IFS. They are not accepting any supplier of their food commodities if this is not IFS certified. And this standard continues to grow internationally. Yes, in developing countries also now, in Pakistan, Nepal, in Nigeria, in developing countries also IFS standards are growing and getting more popularity. Offices are located in key regions worldwide, including Europe, America, and Asia. The focus of IFS is on creating a standardized and uniform measures against which retailers and brand owners can access their supplies and enhance transparency in this supply chain. So actually, the aims and objectives of IFS standards is the confidence among the suppliers, among the buyers, among the food industries, among the suppliers, especially in the European countries. And all European countries have only one standard. So this is the IFS International Featured Standards, IFS HPSC, IFS Food, mean IFS Food 6.1, then Global Market Food, as I discussed in the previous slide, that IFS also drafted standards, established standards, other than food, like logistics, like brokers, like global market, and so on. IFS Food 6.1 is a standard for the auditing of companies that process food or companies that pack loose food products. I mean, loose food products are processed food products. In all these food product manufacturing companies, the commodities certified against IFS in Europe especially. IFS food is only applied where the product is processed or handled, or if there is a danger of product contamination during the primary packaging. IFS food is applied to processing and working, handling of loose products, and activities undertaken during the primary packaging. This is the scope of IFS of Food 6.1, that is the International Featured Standard. Then IFS Global Markets Food. Food is a standardized food safety assessment program for retailers. Yes, IFS Food 6.1 is for the companies, for the food industries that are processing the packed food or loose food. The difference is, please see the difference. IFSF Food 6.1, that is for food industries, for processing packed or processed food. And IFS Global Market Food, that is for retailers as well as industry branded food products. And this program is meant to support small and are less developed business in development of their food safety management system and making the first step towards the implementation of the food standard. So this is the two IFS standards that is also recognized by GFSI that are accepted worldwide. And only two, IFS Food 6.1 and IFS Global Markets Food, directly related with the food industries, and other are for different sectors. So now we are going towards our fourth GFSI and very, very important standards, that is BRC, British Retail Consortium. The persons who are working in food industries, they well know about the BRC standards. First, we discuss the FSSC 22000. Then we discuss about the SQF standards. Then we discuss IFS. And now we are going to discuss BRC, British Retail Consortium. British Retail Consortium, this is most popular standard in British and UK market leading brand and consumer protection organizations, used by over 29,000 certified suppliers over 130 countries. Now BRC global standard for food safety level 8 issue is released. BRC also developing the standard for food, for packaging material, even for storage, consumer products, retails, plant-based, agent and brokers. We are only discussing about the BRC food and BRC packaging standard. BRC packaging, BRC British Retail Consortium food standard established in 1998. And the most important standard is issue 8, that is British Retail Consortium Global Standard for Food Safety. The issue 8, BRC level 8 of the food safety standard, is divided into 9 different sections. Number 1 is senior management commitment, that the industry who are certifying against BRC global standard issue 8 have senior management commitment against the requirements. Then food safety plan, mean HACCP, totally implementation of HACCP, all the PRPs, all the principles, all the prerequisite programs. Then food safety and quality management system, mean FSQMS, total FSMS, all clauses of FSMS included. Then site standards, I mean factory conditions, cleaning, equipment, pest control, and so on. Then product control. Then also the 6th point is process control. There, these requirements ensure that documented HACCP plan is put into operations on a daily basis, together with effective procedures to consistently manufacture the product to correct quality. Then personnel, mean a competent, trained personals available, protective clothing and hygiene practices are covered in these sections. Then number 8, high risk, high care, ambient, high care production risk zone. Mean a specific section of this standard, especially in BRC, dealing with products that are susceptible to potential pathogen contamination. Pathogen are disease causing organisms that ultimately leads to disease in the human, and therefore need additional controls to ensure product safety, mean directly deal with microbiology. The last one is requirements for trade products, a voluntarily section of the standard for sites that purchase and sell food products that would normally fall with the scope of the standard and are stored at the site's facility. So these are the 9 sections of BRC, British Retail Consortium, Global Standard for Food Safety. Then halal food standard. These are the also in foods. We are discussing to the international food standards. First, we discuss about the Codex Alimentarius Commission. What is Codex Alimentarius? Then we discuss about the GFSI, Global Food Safety Initiative, GFSI scheme, objectives of GFSI. Then we discuss the GFSI recognized standards, that is FSSC 22000, then SQF, then IFS food standards, and then BRC. And now we are discussing on halal food standards. This is also emerging standards, and these standards are also applicable in food industries, especially in Pakistan. Pakistan established their own standards. Pakistan established their own standards, that is Pakistan Standard PS 3733, also applicable in Pakistan's food industries, producing and trading locally and internationally. Then Malaysian standard is very popular standard, that is MS 1500. Then UAE Halal Standard 2055. These are the marks of standard development agencies, mean PSQCS, CIMIC. In the CIMIC standards are in our next slides. What is CIMIC? That is Standard and Metrology Institute of Islamic Countries. This is the platform of OIC and this head office of CIMIC in Turkey. The right, corners logo reflecting the UAE halal mark, then Malaysian JAKIM halal mark, PSQCA. These are the standards catalog of CIMIC that are dealing with the food. The number one is OIC CIMIC 2019. This is specially designed for halal food. I mean, if the standards specially designed, drafted on food, then it means this standard is also internationally international food standard applicable on the food industries and the food businesses. So in halal standard is also very important, and I request to all the participants must get knowledge, insights about these standards. We are providing the awareness sessions on these standards, inshallah, every week. Okay, then we are going towards our closing, but yes, still 10 minutes of training is pending. We discuss all the standards: SQF, BRC, IFS, FSSC, Codex Alimentarius Commission, and halal food. Why standard is important? This is a question. The benefits of standards serve as a catalyst for innovations. They define interface and compatible requirements for the industries. Market access facilitate. I mean, for example, you are producing the one product in Sudan, or you are producing the one product in Turkey or in Thailand. And if you are not apply the standard of your buyers, for example, you are producing the product in Thailand and you are buyer in Turkey. Okay, the Turkey required halal certifications, the halal standard implementation, or FSSC 22000 or SQF. And if Thailand producer has not FSSC certified, they are not avail the opportunity to market or to sell their product in Turkey. This is the best example. So these standards, this is the market requirements, this is the trade requirements, also voluntarily requirements, and facilitate market access. Yes, I saw one comment on our Facebook that all different countries have different standards. Yes, I also already described that. Like BRC is specially designed by British, SQF by Australian, IFS is the fundamental requirement of European countries, and halal standard is the requirement of Muslim countries as a whole. They also save costs, improve product safety, and reduce product liability. These are the some benefits, some basic benefits of the standards. Then slight discussion on, because once we are discussing about these standards, then these standards are certified. And what is certification? Is the formal attestation or confirmation of certain characteristics of an object, person, or an organization. We also certifying our product, our institute, or our organization against some specific standards. And the bodies who are providing these certifications is known as certification bodies. These are CBs. And globally, different CBs working on different standards for assessment. Same, these are the some benefits of certification, that is the better management control, reduced rework and operational expenses, improved product quality, market, then increase your market, enhance the customer satisfaction. Once a customer take a product from the retail market and they saw the logo of BRC, they saw the logo of Halal, saw the logo of FSSC, the customer trust on that product, that some basic food safety systems apply in the manufacturing sites of that specific product. Then improve customer service, new market, export new markets. This is the greatest opportunity of all these certified clients and for all the industries who implement operationally and effectively implement all these standards. They got the benefit of these system certifications. And then build professional credibility. Then first we discuss all the standards, then certification bodies who are certifying the industries against these standards, and then all these CBs must accredit from their national accreditation body. If a certification body not accredited from any accreditation body, then it's considered as loose certification body. Accreditation is the formal recognition of a certification body's competence to conduct specific activities such as testing or certification. Mean like in Pakistan, this is Institute of Ministry of Science and Technology, that is Pakistan National Accreditation Council, and Pakistan National Accreditation Council regulating and accrediting all these certification bodies, especially halal certification bodies, who are providing the halal certification against Pakistan Halal Standard PS 3733 to the food industries. So this is the channel: top accreditation body, then certification body, then standards. And all stakeholders, even for accreditation body, have standards, for certification bodies have standards, for food industries have standards. And today we only discuss about the standards on food industries. These are the benefits, like standards benefits, then certification benefits, same benefits for the accreditations. Why accredit CBU? Why use an accredited certificate? As a professional, as a food professional, this is your responsibility also. You are also a young professional. You are going towards your professional career, and you are also going to in near future in food industry, or some of you working in food industry. This is your responsibility to choose only accredited certification body. The benefit of accredited certification body is the product certified against from that CB accepted worldwide. If the certification body is not accredited, then might be possible you lose your export market. Then this is an international accreditation forum. From bottom, that is standard, then certification, then accreditation, and in as a whole worldwide, this is the IAF, International Accreditation Body. That is a global association of accreditation bodies, certification body, associations, and other organizations involved in conformity assessment activities in a variety of fields, including management system, products, and personnel. So that's why your product, you are producing the product in one country that is certified from approved certification body, from competent certification body that is accredited from their national accreditation body. The product is accepted worldwide through IAF. And this is the official website of IAF. I request to the participants, please go through this website and study by on. If from here you got all the national accreditation bodies, and from the national accreditation bodies you got the list of national certification bodies, and from the national certification bodies you got the list of all certified industries against different standard of that country. So this is very important. You must study the website of IAF also. So we are going towards the conclusion, that is, we need to work on quality assurance and quality control of food products, for innovative solutions in processes. As a food professionals, we work for food product development in industries, in academic institutes, go for new products. Through these standards, after getting these certifications, lead auditor course, trainings against these standards, you may be the best consultant and best advisor to the local, to the government authorities, to the food industries, to the retail business. This is the best opportunities to learn about the food standards. You must learn learn these standards separately. I mean, SQF separately, FSSC separately, IFS separately, and this is the best opportunity to jump in professional sector and evolve new opportunities for on and for as a whole community, to provide the professional services and technical trainings. You must enter in the line of trainers. By getting these basic trainings, you could be the best trainer of these standards. This is the important lines for food professionals. The two important lines, I fetch the data from National Alliance for Safe Food website. The National Alliance for Safe Food website, the one is, the goal of the food safety professionals should be to create food safety culture. Very important, some words, but very important. This is the goal of food safety professional, to promote, to create a food safety culture. And then food safety is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. This is not possibility that overnight automatically implement the food safety standards in food industries, or we got the whole knowledge of food standards. No, we have to invest. We have to invest time. Intellectually, we read the standards. We discuss the case studies. We resolve the case studies. We have to invest time. This is not a chance. It's a matter. This is up to us. If we are going for expert, if you are willing for a food safety trainer, then you must have a grip on all these international food standards. And for that, you have to invest time to read these standards, to study these standards, to purchase these standards. And this is our goal, ultimate goal of every food professional. So this is assessment time. I repeat, we discussed today first about the Codex Alimentarius Commission, then slightly discussed the GFSI scheme, then GFSI schemes recognize certification standards, FSSC 22000, DRC, SQF, IFS, slightly discuss about the certification bodies and accreditation bodies and benefits of certification and accreditations. And this is the assessment time. I request my team to please share the link of our all participants. I request my participants, you may get the link from the comments box of our Facebook engines, or you may get the link from our direct Facebook page, National Alliance for Safe Food, facebook/nfsfood.org. You get the assessment link. Must fill that form, because your certificate is based on that assessment. If you qualify the criteria, then you get the e-certificate on your registered email. So please write your name, correct wordings and correct spellings, because the names you are mentioning on assessment test that is directly pasted automatically your certificate generated from that form. So this is assessment time. Okay, I think most of them are, we get the inputs from our coordinator that almost assessment form done. So this is time of feedback form. I also request the coordinators of team to must share the feedback form link on our social media pages so that we may get the actual feedback from all of you to improve our online free of cost training services for the participants. Yes, there are some questions. I repeat one by one, that is difference between halal standard and ISO, or halal comes under ISO. That's halal standard is not under the umbrella of IS, but yes, in halal standard, some clauses directly are modified, fetch from ISO. ISO is the International Organization for Standardization, but halal standard is the sole property of Muslim community, and OIC CIMIC is leading the halal standard, and Muslim countries working for uniform halal standards. So directly halal standard is not under the umbrella of ISO. Just kindly light up food defense and food fraud. That is food fraud. Basically, both are intentional adulteration, but food fraud, that is for economical gain, driven for motivation economically gain. But the food defense, that is directly leads to biologically driven, to change the basics of food through technology, GMOs, and so on. This is the food defense. Which is most adaptive in West, FSSC 22000 or ISO 20. This ISO 22000, the advanced form of ISO 22000 is FSSC 22000. Which standard is most suitable for us if we want to get certification? This depends upon your requirements. Mean from where your industry is located, and what is the buyer of your product. This is depend upon the buyer requirements, that they require IFS standards, BRC standards, or SQF standards. Overall, GFSI standards are most applicable and accepted everywhere. And your assessment and feedback form is on our social media pages. I request my team to please share. And I hope my team respond to the online questions. And by tonight, we respond all the questions on our messenger and even on our Facebook page. So we are going to end our this live session. I especially thanks to all my participants, audience, especially Sargodians, National Alliance for Safe Food teams, our coordinators from different regions of Pakistan, our Secretary General, founding members, Executive Council members, Chief Coordinator. I special thanks to the whole cabinet of National Alliance for Safe Food and the audience and the sponsors and partners of Food Alliance. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, we will meet in next week again on the emerging title of food industry.